Hello students, this is Parth Thakkar. In our today's lecture, we are going to study flow boiling and condensation. So let's start with the first slide. In our previous videos, we know that we have classified boiling in a two way. First is a pool boiling, in which there is absence of bulk fluid motion. As you can see from the figure, this is the fluid which is stationary. There is no motion of fluid. The only motion which takes place, it is because of the convection currents, natural convection currents. Second is a flow boiling, in which there is a presence of bulk fluid flow because of the external arrangement such like pumps. So now let's understand flow boiling. Flow boiling is further classified in a two ways. First is the external flow boiling and second one is the internal flow boiling. External flow boiling is done over a plate or a cylinder, which is similar as a pool boiling, in which added motion increase both the nucleate boiling. With higher velocity, the higher the nucleate boiling. Second one is the internal flow boiling, which is more complicated because in internal flow boiling there is no free surface for the vapor to escape. As you can see in this figure, there is a flow of water inside the pipe. Here the temperature of the surface of the inner wall, the temperature of the surface of the inner wall of the pipe is much higher than the saturated temperature of the water. So when water enters in this pipe, in starting point the temperature of water is rise. After some length, we will see some, here from figure we can see there are some bubbles which is near to the surface of the wall. So this is the zone which is known as the bubbly flow. After some length, the position of this bubble is little bit far from the surface of the inner surface of the pipe. So there is a more amount of bubble which is in the liquid which contains vapor in it. So this flow is known as the slug flow, where the number of bubbles is more. After some length, we can see there are number of bubbles which are coming to the mainstream, and due to the more vapor content in that bubble, there are mostly vapor at the center of the pipe and only fluid which is at the corner or at the near the surface area of the inner wall. So mostly vapor in the annular area. So this length is known as, or this flow is known as the annular flow. After some length, there is a transition zone between annular flow and mist flow. In a mist flow, the liquid available is only in the bubble form, in the droplets form. As you can see here, there are liquid droplets, otherwise it's mostly vapor form, so that this is known as the mist flow, where the forced convection, because of the velocity there is a convection which is done by the forced convection. So this is how internal flow boiling takes place in any pipe in which fluid is flowing by the external arrangement such like pumps. External boiling is done over the surface of the cylinder or the pipe, which is nearly same as the pool boiling. Now let's understand condensation. Up to this point we have learned about the boiling process. In boiling, the liquid or the fluid accept or receive the heat from the surrounding, latent heat, and use that latent heat for the phase change, from converting from the liquid to the vapor. This is known as the boiling. It mainly classified in a two ways. First is a pool boiling, second is a flow boiling. In pool boiling, there are also a sub-pooled boiling and saturated boiling. We have also learned some boiling regimes in our previous video. In a flow boiling, there are internal flow boiling and external flow boiling. Basically, internal flow boiling which is much complicated, because in internal flow boiling, vapor and the liquid both have to flow inside the pipe. There is no free space available for the vapor to escape. Now it's time to learn condensation. Condensation is just reversal of the boiling, in which when the temperature of the vapor is lowered to the saturation temperature, condensation starts. Usually it is done by bringing the vapor into the contact with the solid surface, whose temperature Ts, whose surface temperature is below the saturation temperature of the vapor. So there are conditions, different conditions for the condensation. According to condition of the surface, the condensation is mainly happens in a two way. One is a film wise condensation, second is a drop wise condensation. As you can see from this figure, in a film condensation, the vapor condense on the surface and form a liquid layer, or we can say that form a film of liquid on the surface of that, on the surface. Now as more content of vapor condense on the surface, the thickness of the film will increase, and due to the effect of the gravity, that film will flow in the downward direction. As here we can see that there is a thickness of this film and which is flowing downward direction due to the gravity effect. According to condition of the surface, another type of condensation is drop wise condensation. It is purely depend on the surface condition. In a drop wise condensation, vapor condense on the surface of the solid in a droplets form. Here you can see in the figure, the vapor condense and takes form of liquid in a droplets form. After certain size, these droplets will also flowing downward direction due to the gravity effect. Now let's understand both type. First is a film condensation. So in this type, condensate wets the surface and forms liquid film on the surface. As we can see in the figure, it slides down under the influence of gravity, as we discussed. The thickness of the liquid film increases in the flow direction as more vapor condense on the film. We know that the more vapor condense on the surface, the thickness of the film will increase. Now in a second type, drop wise condensation, condensed vapor forms droplets on the surface instead of continuous film. Surface is covered by the countless droplets of varying diameter. Now let's compare both film condensation and drop wise condensation. In film condensation, surface is blanketed by a liquid film. In droplets condensation, droplets slide down when they reach a certain size, clearing the surface and exposing it to the further vapor. Here the liquid wall between the solid surface and the vapor serves as the resistance to the heat transfer. First, when there is no liquid film, the surface is directly available to the vapor for the convection, for the condensation. But when the some thickness of the liquid film is formed, there is a resistance between the vapor and the surface. In a droplets condensation, there is no liquid film in the for the resistance of the heat transfer. So, in conclusion, drop wise condensation is the preferred mode of condensation in a heat transfer application, but it is complicated to achieve. Drop wise condensation achieved did not last long and converted to the film condensation after some time. It is common practice to assume film condensation in the design of heat transfer equipment. So that's it for today. Thank you so much.